So, hi, welcome. This is again streamed on YouTube and Twitch for my Twitch people. So you're aware if anybody's watching out there in the ether. But okay. Hi guys, welcome. I really am trying to figure out what type of content that I want to continue creating. And right now, the two type of content that I kind of touched on in my previous video was that I really want to be in the commentary space. I really enjoy just kind of yapping about absolutely random topics that have nothing to do with me, truthfully. Um, and yeah, this is how we're gonna start it, I suppose. But one thing about me is I love Adam McIntyre down. He is truthfully so good at what he does. I think that in the commentary space, I don't really watch a lot of different creators, if I'm being honest. Personally, I really don't. And I think that is partially because I'm very specific with the people that I watch, first of all. But second of all, I feel like a lot of commentators are or can be out of touch. Um, Unfortunately, that's just what I feel like is the case. If you know Adam McIntyre always keeps it real. He really tries to be neutral in any situation. Now, of course, there's always going to be a situation where either he's involved or he has some type of perspective, but I think that that is part of being in the space. That is part of creating content. You always are trying to put in your perspective to kind of have a discussion where it's more nuanced and you can kind of get down to whatever the truth is. Everybody has their own truth, yes, but I think that there should be conversations where it's a little bit more balanced in a way, to say the least. But I really wanted to watch this and I haven't watched it yet, but I wanted to give it my own thoughts. I always love Adam's takes. Again, with anything, I'm not always 100% going to be, ooh, excuse me. I'm not always going to agree with a person 100%. We all, again, have our own perspectives, but I think generally Adam really tries to be level-headed in any comments that he makes in any situation. But yeah, so without further ado, let's see what he has to say about this Trisha Paytas and Shane Dawson thing. And also, I do love to watch Trisha. I've kind of had followed her since, old Trisha days, but I wasn't a regular, like, watcher from her. I just kind of knew her from, like, the Vlog Squad days. If you know, you know. But of course, ever since she has evolved and matured and also, processed a lot and gone through a lot of therapy, I really do enjoy watching her podcast, Just Trish. It's one of the podcasts that I do like to listen to, and I love to hear her perspective too, since she has been through so much. I love to hear how like her perspective is so different than what it used to be, and sometimes in specific topics like what she has to bring to the table. And also Oscar, love him down also. So funny. But yeah, Shane Dawson, truthfully, I don't know much about him. I mean, aside from like the whole, what was it, the conspiracy palette and that era, that's the only time that I really consumed any type of his content, if I'm being honest. But aside from that, I have no idea what else is going on with him. We're both live reacting and watching this at the same time, so let's see.
YouTubes. You guys are just so polite over here on Twitch. Hello, everyone. Hello, YouTube. As they're saying, I hope you're all doing very, very, very well. we're going to be continuing on this discourse that is going on with Tana Mongeau. I was going to say Brooke Schofield. Nope, that podcast is no longer here. Tana Mongeau, Morgan Adams, Shane Dawson, and Trevi Moran. Whew, there is so much to discuss here because we're going to be talking about Trisha today. We're going to be talking about Trisha. So Trisha got involved, and a lot of people have a lot of thoughts on what Trisha's saying. Now, without recapping too much, basically, Tana Mongeau was promoting her new podcast and did this video with Trevi Moran, which has like documentary music in the background, and it's them saying us sitting down to do a documentary about being in Shane Dawson videos. So they are basically, it's like a surviving Shane Dawson, you know what I mean? They're talking about going through, you know, bad times with him and surviving the other side of it. That's what they're feeding into here. This also is a TikTok trend right now to do these kind of videos. And they're probably promoting a podcast in which they probably don't talk about Shane at all. So Morgan Adams, Shane Dawson's sister-in-law, commented and said, "Never forget that when it worked in your favor, he was your dad and your biggest idol. Congrats on evolving, but how about you let others do the same?" And now I said, in the most respectful way, Tana Mongeau is unreliable. I think that she uses people for clout. I think that she changes her opinions so often, which never is a bad thing. But in the case of Tana Mongeau, she does it depending on what can benefit her publicly. But I still think that, Morgan, you have no right to come in here and say, like I said in my first video, that Tana's changing her opinions now on wanting to call Shane out versus, you know, back then he was her biggest idol and stuff, because that man was pushing 30 years old and had a 17, 18-year-old Tana Mongeau sit on top of him and pee on him for a bit in a video, excluding how many other creepy moments he had with her.
Okay, and also I did watch Trisha's take on this. She spoke about it in like 2 episodes of her podcast, and she I really liked her take. And just to give you a quick synopsis of it, she really does not think that Morgan has anything to say in this matter, as far as like she shouldn't think that, you know, Tana should be moving on from this. If you hurt somebody, they are completely in their right to still feel hurt from that situation, and, you know, not forgive that person. And this is Trisha's wording. This is just what she said in her take on it. And it comes from the perspective of course, Trisha has kind of a very difficult past, which is true. But in her perspective, she believes that the people that she hurt in her past, they have every right to not forgive her, to not want to support her, even if those matters were from years ago. Just because they happened years ago doesn't mean that in current day, they're not allowed to feel any type of emotion in regards to those situations and those matters back in the day that happened. Which I thought it was a very interesting take, if I'm being honest. And I kind of agree with her. I think that, I mean, everyone is entitled, like, as you're moving through life, you can't just forget everything, and you're entitled to not forgive people if that's your prerogative. Like, truthfully, like, I think it's case by case, situation by situation, and person by person, but you can't be outright telling people, like, move on. You can't say that. Like, it's not your emotions, it's not your situation. You're not the one that got hurt, or even if you were, that's your business. I'm still in the process of whatever it may be, right? So I think she had a good take on it.
So I don't really think that you have any right, Morgan, to come out here and, you know, try to come at her for this.
Check this out. I'm going to show you how I afforded this car.
I have no YouTube Premium, so I'm sorry. If y'all want to pay for that, love it.
Tana Mongeau is very unreliable. That doesn't take away from the fact that so many people in this YouTube industry treated her very predatory. Cody Ko, Shane Dawson, Jason Nash, the list can go on and on and on. So Morgan, you should have just sat down. You shouldn't have posted this because you look weird. And I'm pretty sure you've deleted it now, which I think that you shouldn't have posted it in the first place. I think that you do need to kind of, I think that anyone in these Shane Dawson orbits need to like learn their lesson that like Shane maybe not be getting talked about right now and he may be doing his own thing and that's great, but don't push it because Shane is a creep. Let's call it what it is. So don't push it. Don't push it. It just pisses me off the way that these people act. It really does. So Trisha got involved and I watched a couple minutes of it and then I stopped and went, we're going to do this together. You're going to want to sit down for this. So let's hear what Trisha has to say. I said in my first video, if you
I love his vocal stems, by the way. I love them.
didn't watch that, obviously Trisha and Tana are very close friends in the industry. I particularly find their friendship very fake and very annoying. And I mean that with no disrespect to either woman. I think that it is a friendship built on purely benefiting off of each other, and I just think that it's very clear to see that. I also don't know how Trisha handles it because Tana's clearly obsessed with her, and it's just weird, but I don't want to get into all that again.
I don't know. I mean, I know that Trisha and Tana do have a podcast together. I think it's called like Dateline or something like that. And from what I gather, they kind of, I don't know, have like commentary or like give advice to people that call in or something. I could be absolutely wrong. I have no idea. I have never listened to it. But I think that I kind of agree with what he's saying. I do think Tana is very obsessed with Trisha in the sense that she admires her and really loves what she has done with her career, and her success of recently, and I think she kind of wants to emulate that, which that in itself is a little weird, but I don't know if it's malicious in any way. Like, I think that Trisha does talk about Tana a lot. It seems like they do kind of like actually communicate aside from just their podcast. I think it's definitely a little bit more than just like business in a sense, but they both are definitely are benefiting off of each other. I don't know who is maybe benefiting more than the other. That is another conversation that I feel like I'm not, I don't have enough information for that. But I will say that I think at the end of the day, I think it's kind of endearing. I could be completely wrong because the way Adam is interpreting is kind of like weird, you know? I kind of see it like a little bit endearing in the sense that Trisha is older. It's kind of like looking up at somebody who has had a very similar life experience to you in the sense that, you've gone through some shit and now you're maturing, you've realized all the mistakes that you've done in the past, and they both have been very public about, their rough patches. They both are public people. So I think that they can relate a lot, and I think that they can both talk about a lot of things that can be very deep and relate to one another. And also, I'm sure Trisha has a lot of advice that she can give to Tana, and I think Tana has, although again, I don't really consume a lot of Tana content, if I'm being honest. But it seems from what I know that Tana is really trying to turn a new leaf, and she wants more friends like Trisha that are more mature. And I honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if she gets married very soon and starts having children. I think that is probably in her near future. And yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's that deep. I think Tana just likes to exaggerate everything. So,
But let's hear what Trisha has to say about this. Because obviously Trisha, very close with Shane Dawson as well. So let's get into
I
it.
can't wait for you to stay up tomorrow. It was so good. And then, I took my wig off, took my makeup off, and I'm just
Business friendship. You know what? I guess so many of these YouTube creators are business friendships. So I guess I can't hate on it. But I still find it annoying.
Like breast.
I still find it fucking annoying. Here we go.
It's so hot here. I really feel like I have like a heat.
Oh, wait. Sorry. I have it playing twice. Oh, no, I don't. Sorry. I think there's just an echo on. There's just like a weird echo on this video. So we're going to have to get past that. Oh, sorry. Wait. I fixed it.
So maybe I shouldn't even be making.
I fixed it. Sorry. There was an echo.
Hey, I'm struggling too with this.
My bad. I had it playing. This is what happens. This is what you get. Live theater, y'all. Live theater. You know, in like when they do those compilations of like theater going wrong, it's like pull the curtain. Goodness me. Goodness me. Quite frankly indeed. So anyways, let's get to it.
This TikTok, but anyways, okay. Me just being like, I should make this TikTok, but you know. Okay, so my girl Tana, you know, she stays relevant, right? She's, for better or for worse, I know she's in her piece era. She's like, I don't want this drama, you know.
I find, like, that terminology just so annoying. I find it so annoying. And Trisha does it a lot too. And again, I mean no disrespect, but I just find it so performative. Like, the constant, like, we're in our brand safe, we're in our peace, we're in our unproblematic, I'm like...
I think how Tana named her podcast Brand Safe, I think it's a little clever to an extent. I think it's a little annoying, like, but that's also Tana's brand. Like, she loves to, like, exaggerate things. She loves to, like, scream things at you, you know? Not necessarily in a bad way, but more like marketing wise, like her content, things of that nature. She likes to go above and beyond, in like a grandiose way. Like, you know, she's podcasting in Hawaii on a truck bed with her boyfriend, like, cute. It's cute. Everything is cute. I'm not gonna lie. Like, yes, that's cute. That's dainty. But, like, that is so different than, you know, what she was doing. And it's, like, a complete 180 then, like, canceled. Which, I've only watched, like, a couple episodes. Like, I didn't keep up too much with it. But it's clearly, like, completely opposite of what she was. And, I mean, that's fine. Like, she clearly is trying to change and, you know, rebrand herself, but like that's definitely like not subtle in by any means.
Oh, it's a little bit annoying. I'm like, it's a little bit annoying. It really is. I'm in my unproblematic era. I'm in my peaceful era. I'm in my no bullshit era. I'm in my, like, all of it to me is just kind of like, oh, it's like Riverdale. You know, when like the person's getting bullied and then the person, so the bully says something and then the person getting bullied responds and it's like, well, yeah, and then slams and then walks off and like music plays. It's just so Disney Channel to me. It's so Facebook momcore. It really is. It's like, I've heard Trisha was talking about it for so long, which was, you know, she's in her peace era, she's in her unproblematic era, and it kind of worked for her, you know what I mean? Like, the terminology worked. And then Tana came along and stole the entire thing, so now whenever I hear anyone do it, I'm like, oh, this has just annoyed me.
Fair.
Anyways, I'm moving on.
I don't need this all the time. So, but, you know, I always have to chime in when it comes to Tana because, you know, Tana's my girl. And obviously, I saw Tana and Travi, they're like, when you sit down to talk about the Netflix documentary trend thing, Friday, I did one of those trends today, like, it's just a trend, whatever, but about being like the Shane Dawson videos, and then, you know, that's fine, whatever, but then the Morgan Adams clapback was so interesting to me. Of course, I'm in that conversation.
I'm actually surprised to see Trisha referring to this, because I didn't think that she would refer to anything about Shane Dawson ever.
As well, because like, but Tana collabs with Trisha, and Trisha's problematic because she's done awful things, and, well, yes. I think there is a big difference between me and Shane. I'm just going to say that. Okay, I think there's a pretty big difference, but...
I don't even think that's that fair to say. I don't really think that's fair to say. I don't think there's that big of a difference between Shane and Trisha at all. I don't think so at all. I think they're both from a same time period. They've both made problematic content, and we can go down each different topic, you know. They've both been cancelled many times. They've both made apology videos. They're both now kind of redeemed by the public. I actually don't think that's true at all, Trish. The kid stuff is kind of worse on Shane's parts, though. I mean, Shane has a lot of creepy stuff, like a lot of creepy stuff. But I mean, again, I mean, you can really say similar things about, you know, stuff that Trisha has done as well. I just think that we shouldn't be comparing. And I don't think that we should be making it a thing of like who's better or who's worse or who's more cancelled or who's more different. I just think that opens up a lot of doors. So while a lot of people in here are saying, you know, Shane is creepier, he had more things with kids and stuff, that's absolutely true. When it comes to them both being so different, I think as well, I think that Trisha and Shane shared a very similar trajectory on social media and with being called out and being liked and stuff, that I think when I focus on that, I don't think it's fair to say that they're much different, honestly.
I digress. I think we also like consider age into all of it, right? Like how old they were, the age gap, all that stuff like that. Like Tana being 18, she's allowed to feel some type of way now at 28. Like she's allowed that. What was like kind of obnoxious to me is when Morgan's like,
This is what I was talking about. Okay, well, I guess she kind of reiterated what she said in her podcast on TikTok.
and I love your growth, but you should allow Shane to also have growth. And no one's not allowing Shane to change and grow. He still has a fan base. I'm sure he has changed and grown. I hope he's changed and grown. We're almost 40. We have kids. Just because you've changed and grown, I've changed and grown, people have changed and grown, doesn't mean you can just like negate the past of people's past experiences with you. Again, speaking from someone who has a lot of people on the internet that don't like me either. If there is people that I've offended, which I know there is, and they want to stay offended, even though I'm trying to be a better person every day. And
I also keep forgetting that Shane has kids. That's what I'm saying. These people share a very similar trajectory. They're both similar age. They both have multiple children. They, you know what I mean? If we're sticking to that, their trajectories are very... Isn't it crazy he has kids? He has 2 kids.
A lot of people see that as well, and I'm proud of the growth. Doesn't mean those people have to stop feeling that way. I never see a TikTok where someone is still upset with me for something that happened 10, 15 years ago and like, well, I've changed. You need to just get over that. You can't just tell people to get over things. I just thought those 2 points of like, well, Tana, you said he was your idol. He said he was your dad. What is convenient for you? Yeah, she was 18. She was a child. Like she was not a child, but she was like literal teenager, which to me is a child. How I was treated at 18, I feel some type of way about now, but at the time, I didn't feel that way because...
Also, I'm such a huge advocate for... I believe that people have their own time scale and no one should pressure anyone. And if someone speaks up and you deem it too late, that's on you. You didn't experience it. People can change their opinions. I think that changing your opinions is...
I agree. There's no timeline on healing your emotions or anything. And even if you have processed everything, you're always going to, you know, have a moment where those feelings come back. You smell something that like takes you back. Like there is no timeline in healing, and it's always like ebb and flow, you know, like just like grieving. You can't, there's no end to grieving, just like there's no end to processing your emotions. Unfortunately, you can absolutely heal from things, but you know, you still experience those things. So they're even in like it's in the corner of your memory, like you can still have an emotional, a physical reaction to those memories.
Just part of being human. And specifically, for fuck's sake, about things that happened to you when you were incredibly young, about power dynamics and friendship relationships, romantic relationships, things to do with sexual stuff. Like, I think all of that, heck, every year you probably look back and have a different opinion of it. I mean, you guys in chat here as well probably have things in your life that you look back on differently than in the moment, or it's ever evolving. And I think it's incredibly it's so cunty to, in a bad way, to tell someone like, oh, well, you said this at one stage, so you can't change your mind on this person who treated you inappropriately. You know what I mean?
That's why you change, you evolve. You're like, oh, that was kind of weird. That was kind of weird. And she's allowed to feel that way. And I'm saying this from someone who also has had a problematic past. Like, people are allowed to still be upset with me. People are allowed to not like me. Yes, I've changed and grown, but people are allowed to be upset by past actions. I tell anyone, my sister, my mom, my husband, I'm like, you don't need to defend me. My fans, I'm like, you don't need to defend me, because it just starts the discussion. And at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, I've messed up. I've messed up in the past. And I'm like, I deeply regret so many of the things I put on.
You know what her tone in this video is? And again, this is just like how Trisha talks. You know what it's reminding me of? That fucking Vanessa Hudgens video. Yeah, people are gonna die, but like, that fucking video. And again, it's nothing about what Trisha's saying. It's just the way that Trisha's talking in this video. And again, this is just how she's talking. But it's like, well, yeah, people are gonna die. But what was it? The fucking COVID video from Vanessa Hudgens? That video. But it like, inevitable? Where's that goddamn video? That video is so crazy. Vanessa Hudgens. COVID. Well, yeah, people are gonna die. But like...
Yeah, till July sounds like a bunch of bullshit. I'm sorry. But, like, it's a virus. I get it. Like, I respect it. But at the same time, like, even if everybody gets it, like, yeah, people are gonna die.
No, stop.
It's just terrible. But, like...
Inevitable?
Inevitable? I don't know.
Crazy. Crazy. Crazy.
Honestly, like, it's crazy to think that that's a real video from her. And like now she's like, I don't know. She's like never on live or like, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. That's so weird to think that that like actually came out of her mouth.
One of the worst videos ever. But like, inevitable?
On the internet, I'm deeply ashamed and it's embarrassing.
I respect it. Respect it is crazy. I respect it. What are you talking about? Like, what are you talking about? Oh my god. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Sorry, my brother's texting me. Anyway, back to this.
And I feel bad for my kids one day having to see all that, but the internet is forever. And I have to just suck it up. I just have to suck it up. That's just it. People are allowed to change feelings about a person. People are allowed to change feelings about how they experienced a certain part of their life. It's okay that they feel that type of way. And in my opinion, people don't ever have to stop talking about something that hurt them or upset them or traumatized them. I'm not saying that's what they were saying. It could have been just like joking, lighthearted. Obviously, I've had deep discussions with Tana about the way she was treated in other situations. When I first met Tana, she was 19 and the friend group I was in was making deeply inappropriate jokes, but like weren't.
Again, this was Vlog Squad. Remember the full bit was a young Tana Mongeau when they were all making jokes about Jason Nash wanting to kiss her and sleep with her, and again, grown man and Trisha was dating Jason.
Yeah, like I remember all of that, and honestly, I don't remember being aware that she was that young. Like looking at that back is like, what are we doing? Truthfully.
Jason at the time, like, oh god, that fucking Vlog Squad, dude.
Jokes. And that's the whole reason I left that friend group, because I was like, this is actually so gross. And at the time, I was 29 and she was 19. I was like, this is weird. This is weird. And I was deeply uncomfortable as a result of that. And just, we know how that happened. On a completely different note.
And that's why I think that the relationship, like Trisha and Tana's, isn't too weird, because they both came from kind of like the same friend group where they both were mistreated in some type of way, even if they weren't fully aware of the extent of it at the time, but they can both look back and talk about it, and I'm sure that's very like validating for both of them, you know? They were both there, they were both, you know, aware of what was going on within the friend group, things that were filmed, things that weren't filmed that we don't know about. So that's why I think that it makes sense that they're friends. And I mean, considering how much Tana looks up to Trisha.
Oh, so she moves on to a different topic. All right, what's the response to this? Let's see. It's just a group of bad people trying to be the best good person now. Trisha needs to sit this one out, especially considering Trevi was also in that video with Tana, and Trisha's made content with Trevi. Is she forgetting that she filmed a collab with Shane and Trevi where she was just as bad as Shane was? Not to defend Trisha, but she's been through this cycle of cancellation redemption like 100 times. It's only a matter of time. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. This is just...
Also, like, that's kind of weird to say it's only a matter of time. Like, clearly Trisha is trying to be better, and she continuously, profusely apologized for the things that she has done wrong, and she's completely aware of those things, and she continues to apologize for them, especially when they're being brought up again. Like, she has never strayed away from that, which is kind of commendable, because there's other creators out here that, you know, they apologize once, and if it circulates again, they're like, I've already apologized for this. Why are we bringing this up? Like, whoa, like, truthfully, it's the internet, so things are going to be resurfaced. So new people, you know, a new wave of people are finding this information. So I think that might not be the best way to kind of have a response to that. So it says a lot about somebody's character.
It's like, look at this discourse. Trisha and Shane are not equally as bad as each other. That's why I'm really surprised that Trisha talked about this, because she's now just opened herself up to everyone being like, because she literally says that her and Shane are so different. And I mean, in the context of Trevi, they both filmed videos with Trevi, I think both together, that I'm like, wow, she really has just opened herself up to this for like, that's why her like relationship with Tana is just like, it just doesn't make sense to me, because it's like, Tana's so unreliable. If Trisha, you know, defends her, you know, Tana will easily throw her onto the bus too. So I don't know. This discourse is interesting. I'm
That is interesting. Would she, like, again, I don't think I know Tana enough to really comment on that, but I'm curious to think or to see if anybody else has the same thoughts, and if you do, why? Like, is there any specific reason? Like, I want to know. Let me know, because I truly have no input in regards to that. I don't know if Tana would just throw her under the bus. If so, honestly, that's so messed up if that were to be the case. And I truly hope that that's not the case, because then you're getting into the territory of it being kind of like a Colleen situation, you know, like how Colleen was using Trisha and they had like a podcast together that only lasted for like 2 seconds. No, like, let's not do that again, please.
I'm very surprised that Trisha would get involved in this, knowing that the response to people would be this. You know, like it would be people being like, well, is Trisha really the best person to be speaking about this? I don't know. I think in closing, my take is just that I don't think that Morgan has any right. I don't think that Shane has any right. I don't think that anybody, Trisha, me, anyone, has any right to tell Tana how she felt or feels about what Shane Dawson put her through in the slightest. And it will forever change. It will forever change. And when we talk about Tana being unreliable and, you know, changes her opinions for clout and stuff, that's because we've seen her do this with David Dobrik, James Charles, you know, she's done this with all these people before. Jeffree Star, having Jeffree on her podcast, you know, but that doesn't take away the fact of what she went through as 17, 18, 19-year-olds in this industry, from people who should have been looking out for her best interests and taking care of her and making sure that she was safe and setting her up for a community that would protect her because they were all significantly older than her. So I just think that, I don't know. It's quite strange. I find the discourse very, very interesting. I do. But anyways, let me know your opinion of this down below. I appreciate you being here. I hope you're all doing very well. And goodbye.
Let me stop this. The sausage and my own thoughts. Truthfully, I agree. I think that nobody can speak for Tana. At the end of the day, it's how Tana feels at any given moment. I think that Tana's just now coming through to her maturing phase. I'm not gonna say peace era because truthfully, yeah, like the way she says it, I think ruined it for me too. But honestly, I think we will only be able to tell if it's genuine with time. But on I think she's distanced herself from, the LA life that a lot of influencers really are in and the life she used to have. So I think that that is a start. She is now sober. She's talked openly about her sobriety journey. journey. So I think there's definitely a lot of change going on with Tana that maybe Adam isn't really aware of or keeping up with. And trust me, like I also don't know a lot of the lore with Tana and the things that have happened in the past. Um, but I really hope that it's not all fake and that she's not going to just throw Trisha under the bus. And same thing with Trisha. I think that she should continue growing and learning. She's been very open about her continuously going to therapy because that's the only thing that has helped her really keep her grounded. So I think that's great for them. Those are my thoughts. I don't think she has any further thoughts. I think she's pretty tired from playing. But yeah, I'm just gonna say thank you so much for joining in. If you want to see more content like this, or if you have any specific video you would like for me to watch, please feel free to suggest any. Honestly, this was kind of fun. I definitely would love to continue doing these. And yeah, that's all for now. Bye.